So Rosh Hashana was the day human life was created. And every year, life is recreated. We're given life and opportunities anew. Yom Kippur was the day of that second opportunity, the day we got kapara for the Ma'aseh Egel, the day we got the Torah that we had lost, we got it back. That's a day for regaining lost opportunities by way of Teshuva. What happened on Sukkos, and what are we receiving on Sukkos? What are we commemorating? Ki ba'Sukkos hoshafti es b'nei Yisrael, because in the 40 years in the wilderness, we sat in Sukkos. A chalekes in the Gemara, two opinions. Is it that we actually sat in huts? Or the Ananei Hakavod, the clouds of glory? And by the way, the Shulchan Aruch paskins that they're the clouds of glory. We'll have to discuss that. The Shulchan Aruch paskins Ananei Hakavod, which means that there must be a nafkamina in halach. It must be that this makes a difference. What happened on Sukkos? For 40 years in the wilderness, we were there. For 40 years, we were there. What happened on the day of Sukkos? What happened on the 15th of Tishri? So the Gemara tells us the secret. The Gemara says that, what happened? We got the Torah. Moshe Rabbeinu went up to heaven after Maimon Har Sinai. He came down, and we created the Egel. We made the golden calf. Moshe Rabbeinu then broke the Luchos. We lost Torah. He spent 40 days in tefillah and prayer. Another 40 days when he went up to heaven to receive the second Luchos and get the Torah all over again. And he came down on Yom Kippur. That's what we commemorate on Yom Kippur. And then, 5 days later, we started building the Mishkan, the tabernacle, the Mishkan. We started building the Mishkan. And you know what else happened? The Ananei Hakavod, the clouds of glory, returned. When we left Mitzrayim, when we left Egypt, we had divine protection from all sides. The Ananei Hakavod, the clouds of glory, covered us from underneath, from on top, from all four sides. We had divine protection. They flattened the mountains. They protected us from the enemies. They got rid of the wild animals in the wilderness. They also washed and ironed our clothes as we were wearing them. When we created the Egel, we lost the Ananei Hakavod. We lost that divine protection. It returned after we did Teshuva, received the Torah on Yom Kippur, and then started to build the Mishkan. What did we get that day? We got Ananei Hakavod, divine protection, after Teshuva. Says the Gra, this is the day that has that spiritual power of giving us divine protection after having done Teshuva. That's what Sukkos is. Sukkos is moving into the Sukkah. The Sukkah that doesn't need four walls. The Sukkah that cannot have a sturdy roof. A Sukkah where the roof has to be made of, can't be wood nailed down. It's got to be a diras arai. It's got to be some temporary dwelling. The schach that we put on our sukkah has to be something that is relatively flimsy. We're moving out of our homes, the protection of our homes, and we're moving into this diras arai, this temporary abode, this dwelling that physically is not so impressive, but spiritually offers us divine protection. So what happens every year, Sukkot, when we move out? What are we supposed to be doing? What we're supposed to be doing is feeling that divine protection. Letting go. Letting go. We're supposed to be sleeping where that is possible. Sleeping out there where Preferably, you should see some stars through your roof. For all you know, there may be some rain. There could be wind. Nothing to be afraid of. We're moving out to Hashem's home. We're moving into Hashem's protection. We're moving into Hashem's protection. What is the source of that bitachon? Teshuva. Teshuva. What if you come to Sukkos and you don't feel your Yom Kippur was not as great as it could have been? So it's not just the Teshuva. It's the awareness that we can do Teshuva. It's the awareness that it's up to us, that it's in our hands, that Hashem is not setting us up for the impossible. It is doable. Teshuva means, regardless of what level you're at, you can always grow out of that and become greater. It's up to you. Hashem gives you the ability to do so. You can trust Him. Feel comfortable in His presence. Feel secure in His presence. It's in our hands. No games, no tricks. Hashem loves us. That's Sukkos. And we celebrate. We celebrate with the species. We take the Daled Minim. We shake them in front of Him. We say Hallel with them. We're praising Him with the elements of the earth. And we're supposed to do that with a real feeling of being settled, being at peace with oneself, and being happy. And really, that's what Yom Kippur is supposed to create within us. A feeling of security. I know I can trust Hashem. I know He loves me. And I know that the task He gave me is doable. And it may take me time, but I can get there. And you feel so at peace with yourself. And you're happy to be alive because you know that you can do it. You know that you can attain it. You can attain greatness. Time to be happy. That's Sukkos. Zman Simcha Sein. So what are these Ananei Hakavod made of? Clouds of glory. What's a cloud? Cloud is water vapor. You look at it from afar, it's solid. It's solid. When you go through it, you can't even see it. It's not there. It's water vapor. It's fine. It's fine. It's almost like the finest material that exists in this world. What is it that protects us? Something very fine. It's not something material. It's not Gashmias, that's the whole idea. What is divine protection? It's being finer. It's being more subtle. It's being more ruchni. It's being less Gashmi. That's what gives us protection. Moving into that world of Kedusha, as we call it. The world that's real, but not material. Not material. It's the world of perfecting ourselves by really overcoming our need for things that are material. It's overcoming our attachment to the material world, whereby we need, among other things, our emotional comfort. And we're afraid to grow. We're afraid to become bigger because it's untrodden territory. And we don't know what that's going to be like. Letting go of all of that. Moving into a finer state. And that's what protects us. That's Ananei Hakavod. So yes, we rejoice before Hashem. We rejoice before Hashem. We leave that material world with all of its problems, with all the worries, with everything that gets us down. And we move into a different sphere. A sphere of growth, of being able to overcome our limitations. A sphere of closeness to Hashem. A sphere that's so fine and so strong. Ananei Hakavod, it protects us. So in the Sukkah, we're supposed to feel that, yes, this temporary abode, this flimsy thing, it's the mitzvah of Sukkah and it's protecting us. We're living in Hashem's home. We're living in divine protection. That's really the next step after Tshuva. The step after Tshuva is when I understand myself and understand where I have to get to and really begin a process, even though it's going to take a long time. But I've begun a process and it's going to get me there somewhere, someday. If not today, tomorrow. If not tomorrow, next year. If not next year, in 40 years. But it'll get me there. I've embarked upon this process of tshuva. I'm headed in the right direction. I've entered that sphere of Hashem's protection. That's the simcha of Sukkos. That's the simcha of the Sukkah. It's the security of the Sukkah. And the simcha of the Hallel and the Arba Minim. Being at peace with ourselves. Understanding ourselves. Accepting ourselves and striving for more. That is Sukkot. That is Sukkot. We understand that Sukkot we're also judged for water. For water. So Sukkot is a day of judgment. It's a week of judgment. Culminating in Rosh Hashana. But it's interesting. If it's a day of judgment, we should have to do tshuva. What is the tshuva of Sukkot? What do we have to do to have a successful Sukkot? To be zoicha, to earn for ourselves a prosperous year. Water is parnasa, livelihood. Answer simcha. The more you can really feel happy. Happy with Hashem. Happy with what you've got. Happy with where you're headed. The more you got that, the better place you're in. That's how you earn. That's how you earn the water that we're judged for. So yes, it's an avoda. We got to work hard. But what is that avoda? To feel the joy. To feel the joy. To feel Hashem's warmth. Hashem's given us the opportunity. No games, no tricks. It's doable. Not only is it doable, it's pleasurable. And we're going to get there. Feeling that joy. Feeling that joy. And feeling the closeness. All the way to Simchas Torah, where Shmini Atzeres, Simchas Torah, Shmini Atzeres is a one-day yontif, the culmination of the whole season. Where Chazal tell us, Hashem says, Kosh alai pridaschem. It's so hard to say goodbye. You've been living in my home for all this time. You came for yontif. So what do we gain by staying a day? To make sure to take it with us. What is it that we express in Shmini Atzeres, Simchas Torah? We express our love for Hashem by dancing with His Chochmah. I always note we are the only people on earth that dances with His books. We dance with Hashem's Chochmah. We feel that Avos Hashem. When we get there, we can now take it home with us. In the writings of Rav Shem Rafal Hirsch, he talks of the mitzvah of the month of Cheshvan, the month that follows Tishrei. And he brings the mitzvah of Fanisa, of Abayker, of Halachta Alecha. Turn around in the morning and go home. Yantif, you came for Sholish, we're going to the Beis HaMikdash. Now turn around in the morning and go home. And he says that's the mitzvah of bringing everything you accomplished over Yantif, over the Yom Noraim, bringing it into your house. And that's, in his writings, the month of Cheshvan is where he gives his whole philosophy of what life is supposed to look like. Yeah, a life based on Tshuva, a life based on what we're here in this world for, to overcome our weaknesses, to work hard, become great. That's what we're here for, and to come close to Hashem. Take that home with us. This really culminates the entire season, where we begin by focusing on the fact that work is not a burden. Work is joy. Work meaning becoming greater, working hard to become greater. That's what it's all about in this world. We accept that challenge. And then, Aseret Shemei Teshuva, Yom Kippur, we work through all of our shortcomings and begin a plan, begin working on a process that will bring us to overcoming our weaknesses, maximizing our strengths, and becoming great. And then we celebrate Hashem for giving us this role in life. And we feel close to Him and safe with Him. That's Sukkos. And then we go home and bring all of those values to everyday life. And we spend our lives becoming greater and greater and greater. And our lives really express everything that we learned through the entire season. It should really be a wonderful year.